Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, is reported as missing in Arizona. Shit. This is a deeply, deeply personal story to a lot of people that are at CBS Mornings. I think she's at CBS Mornings. Where is she from? Today. She's from the Today Show. Damn it. No disrespect to you, Savannah Guthrie. I mean, there's an urgent search that is currently unfolding, according to these recent articles. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mother of the co-anchor for the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie, was reported missing from her home in Catalina Foothills, just north of Tucson, Arizona. On Sunday, she was last seen at her residence around 9:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has classified her as a vulnerable adult due to her age and physical ailments, though noted that she does not suffer from any cognitive issues or memory loss. So she's aware, but as we all know, aware is not always aware for the people who are in their 80s or even the 70s. I've met some people who are still sharp in their 70s and 80s and whatnot. I'm not saying it's by age. I'm saying it's by person to person. I've met people who are tired at 40. So that's what I really mean, is that there's a lot of people who are just spun out at different ages. And at 84, there are some people that are sharp, but admittedly, sometimes it's like night or day. It's kind of like they might not have any real issues, but if they're visiting your house, they're gonna pull you aside and whatnot. When you're at the taco bar and they're gonna go, "Whose house are we at again?" And you're gonna be like, "God damn, all right." And then you're going to remember, oh shit, yeah, that just kind of happens, especially, when you're running on, maybe 10 to 20 years left. It's unfortunate, it just happens. But, okay, apparently it's already taken a somber turn. Local authorities have confirmed that the homicide detectives have joined the search and rescue teams. During a press conference, Sheriff Nanos, I think it's Nanos, not Nanos, because there's no, thing above it. I don't believe it's a Spaniard name. He stated that the condition of the scene at the home raised great concerns for investigators. What if this is a Fargo situation? And this is, listen, this is a humorous show. We like to have fun here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And if you want to yell at me for it, do it, but it's not going to stop me. Savannah Guthrie may have done a William H. Macy and Fargo thing, and she may have paid to have her mother kidnapped. I'm saying, listen, it's a great ransom technique. You can make your wife disappear, but I don't know that is she married? Savannah Guthrie, a husband? Ooh, Michael Feldman. Oh, he's kind of a nobody. You can make him disappear, but no diss, no anger, whatever. Apparently, the massive search effort is continuing, involving drones, canine units. They're really tracking her down, man. They're going out. They got Federal Border Patrol assistance combining with the rugged terrain near the East Skyline Drive. Police are still treating the case as a missing person investigation until more evidence surfaces. Yeah, apparently Savannah Guthrie, she was absent from the Today Show anchor desk this morning. I mean, I'm just going to say it. No excuse not to come into work. I'm just kidding, Savannah. We only have positive wishes for you. We really hope you find your mom. Unless, of course, you know where she is. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. There's nothing, no joke. A statement was released through NBC. The Guthrie family thanked the public for their prayers and stressed that they needed their singular focus for the safe return of their, quote, dear Nancy. And authorities are asking anyone in the Tucson area with information or anyone who may have seen the 84-year-old woman with brown hair and blue eyes to contact 911 or the Pima County, the fuck am I saying? The Pima County. I don't want this woman to get found, apparently. My mind is just fuck up the words. Pima County Sheriff's Department immediately. Pima as in Pima. So there you go. If you have evidence, I don't know where you're listening from, but if you find her, if she's in your backyard, wandering around.
We begin this morning with a developing story. The mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie has been reported missing. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home just north of Tucson, Arizona. Tarika Duncan has more. The Pima County Sheriff's Department in Arizona is calling on the public for help with finding Nancy Guthrie.
Miss Guthrie is 80 years old. It's not of good physical health.
Not of good physical health.
She was last seen at her home on Saturday night around 9:30. On Sunday, a relative reported her missing under, quote, concerning circumstances. Officials are describing the case as a search and rescue mission, but they also say homicide detectives have visited Guthrie's home.
The scene at the house also has some concerns for us as well.
We have Nancy
Really?
Guthrie right here to stand up for herself.
Nancy Guthrie has made regular appearances on NBC's Today Show with her daughter Savannah, who has spoken at length about her mother's love for family and faith.
And I think that's the other thing I'd like to say about my mom. The greatest gift my mother gave me was faith and belief in God.
According to her family, Guthrie has no known cognitive illnesses such as dementia or Alzheimer's and is of good sound mind, though she does have some physical ailments. Officials are describing Nancy Guthrie as a vulnerable adult. For CBS Mornings, I'm Jerika Duncan.
I'm Jerika
Where we are
Duncan.
praying for her. In a statement this morning, Savannah Guthrie says, quote, I want to thank everyone for their thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom.
Please, goodness, return her to them. That's unfortunate, deeply. I want to get a little bit of this police detective because honestly, I'm nervous that this is like the Three Stooges. Because the man, when I listened to the brief communique, he did not have the best. He did not have the best. What is the word for this? When people are communicating the facts of a case, they need to have resonance. They need to have a pace at which they speak. This man, I'm sorry, he felt like he didn't study for the test. That's the energy.
Breaking news, police are treating the disappearance of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother as a crime. Investigators say the 84-year-old was last seen near her home on January 31st. Now the Pima County Sheriff says she has mobility issues, and some things at the scene indicate she did not leave on her own. Let's bring in ABC's Melissa Adon and ABC News contributor, former FBI agent Brad Garrett for more. Melissa, what's the latest on the investigation?
What's the latest?
So, Diane, what we just heard about Nancy Guthrie, she's 84 years old, and the investigators there at Pima County, Arizona, confirming that they do, in fact, have a crime scene. Now, that is critical and new information because what we had heard just yesterday was that investigators were concerned with what they found there in that home, and now they're calling.
Will say this about Miss Savannah. I have been a fan. I was a fan of when she interviewed Donald Trump for the 2020 elections when they did the town halls. If you don't remember, Biden got COVID, so they had to cancel the second debates, but they did have a dueling town halls as it was covered. And I watched Savannah Guthrie absolutely grill him, and she did good. She was very, very communicative. She was snappy. She was able to reflect back his lies and whatnot. She was really good at calling him on balls and strikes, all that kind of bullshit. She was very good at that. I must say this, the Mr. Beast smile has always creeped me out a teeny bit. The Mr. Beast smile, if you're not aware, is the effect of a normal smile on the mouth part. However, you'll notice that most of the images of Savannah Guthrie, her eyes have a notable absence of creasing in regards to, yeah, she's got crow's feet, as any people around her age start to get. You know, I think she's in her 40s or something, 40s, 50s, I don't know. You start to get crow's feet into your 30s, you know what I mean? Or if you're really, like, young, or if you weld, if you're a blue-collar worker, maybe your 20s. What I'm trying to say is, she has a notable lack of actual smile lines across her face. However, I can see there is a notable indent of an anger line that runs across her brow ridge, like around her nose, that just seems to indicate this sort of maybe a return to anger. She has this internal, like, you'll see that on the ridges of her brows, she has these up lines that kind of indicate that they're always turned down in a either focused or a frustrated manner. But her eyes are the most fascinating thing to me because they appear, and I don't know if this is because I have something against inherently with people with blue eyes, because I don't know, I'm a brown-eyed OG, I'm a brown-eyed original, call me a real one, but I'm just going to say it, blue-eyed people can sometimes freak me out, especially if it's the really gray-looking blue eyes, and those ones, they look like the Ice Walkers from the Game of Thrones, and that's what spooks me about her a little bit. I don't know. I'm not saying she had anything to do with the potentially her mother disappearing, but all I'm going to say is she appears, she appears to have, the showbiz face, where it's Mr. Beast. It's like, I'm selling you a product. I am the news lady, which I don't have an issue with, and I think that's nice. She does have some liver lines, which I think that maybe she should talk to her doctor about. No judgment. I analyze every person's face like this. That's just kind of like how I look at it.
A crime scene. Please have a listen to the latest that we just heard from investigators.
As I said yesterday, we saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we process that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime.
Shit.
And we're asking the community's help.
Now, reporters in the room there were questioning officials, saying, well, what exactly is that evidence? How do we know that it is, in fact, a crime? Well, investigators followed up saying that they don't want to compromise their investigation so far. But what they do know is what they found yesterday was so concerning that they have now put together some of this evidence that they're going through and looking through, because they feel confident that essentially 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie could not have just walked out of that home alone. Now, we're being told that she has mobility issues, but that she's perfectly sound of mind. Now, another really key alerting thing that we learned was that the investigators shared that if Nancy does not get medic, this could be fatal. Diane.
And Brad, the sheriff talked about using technology to aid in this search. What goes into an investigation like this?
So the big key is, if she didn't leave the house voluntarily, which is what the sheriff is certainly suggesting, that means somebody forcibly took her out of the house because of physical, not mental, but physical impairments. They would have had to help her to force her into a car or into some other device that could take.
You mean to tell me in wherever Arizona, nobody's got a doorbell cam that can maybe just see somebody throwing this bitch in a van? I mean, we live in a surveillance state as is. You can't walk down your DoorDasher is on 50 cams before he's brought you your fucking McDonald's. It's just a fact of living life these days. I don't know what suburb this bitch was living in, but her residence, East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue. Let me look at this place. East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue. Let's take a look at this intersection and tell me that there's got to be something. There's a Charles Schwab across the fucking way, right there. This is a really loaded zone. This is not some this is not it's a suburb. Yeah, it's a suburb, but I've lived in suburbs and whatnot. I've lived around where there's a CVS down the road or whatever. There's a CVS right across the road. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a Skyline Dental. There's a Fidelity Investments. There's a Vivance Restaurants. There's a Francesca's. There is so much opportunity to collect footage from this area. They've got someone putting this girl in a van. And all I'm saying is that Chris Benoit, no one saw Chris Benoit coming. And I'm not saying that Savannah Guthrie has had major trauma to her head. Maybe one of her family members has, or maybe somebody connected to her mom has. But if they start making indictments and they pull somebody that's close to her into custody, I wouldn't be surprised. Majority of the time when someone goes missing and it appears to be some sort of thing like this, it's more often than not someone they know personally. It's just a fact.
Take her wherever. So you obviously want to use drones, but you also want to pull down any cell phone that was on at the time that you believe she disappeared.
Near the area.
Of the house. Because the key here, obviously, Diane, is immediacy. What things can you immediately do? You can do what I just talked about. You also need to immediately interview the staff that works in the house. Who was the last person who saw her? Did she get telephone calls right before supposedly she disappeared? All of those things you need to know. I'm sure they already do know.
They do.
And going one step outside of that, then what's the motive? Is this driven because it's personal some way? Is it driven because she can get the money or something that's, valuable? I don't know. But that also is important, because you just don't show up at somebody's house, to an 84-year-old's house, and then force them to leave with you without obviously some motive.
That's exactly what's missing in this case, and that's exactly what's making me want to crack it. And I'm sorry if it's coming across as conspiratorial. Savannah Guthrie, I'm not trying to accuse you of kidnapping your mother. What I'm trying to say is that the circumstances around this, I have no, it is more likely that this is a family member having some vendetta against her, or some friend of the family, than it is some right-wing person who was like, I fucking hate Savannah Guthrie, I hate her, and you know how I'm gonna get back at her? I'm gonna kidnap her mother and take her to Utah or some shit. That's what I'm thinking. Is it more likely that someone would be mad at Savannah Guthrie and kidnap her mother? Or is it more likely that someone in the Guthrie family, not going to say who it may or may not be, I have no idea, I have no evidence, that more likely that they would have some level of involvement in making this woman disappear to maybe collect the benefits of it. I don't know. I don't know how people think, and all I can do is assume. But I have no reason. I have no reason to be pointing fingers, and as a result, I have no evidence. I'm not going to make any accusations I can't substantiate. And that's the beauty of this show, is that we just get to have fun.